vantage point when Ime and Hero got into the scuffle? Do you know what happened there?
I didn't see it live, but I rewatched it, and they were in each other's face, bumping chests a little bit, and one guy's stronger than the other.
Did the refs? I guess, did you say something that got you thrown out? Did the refs say why you got thrown out?
If what I said gets me kicked out, I'd be kicked out every game. So it's very minimal. He was talking to a staff member. I was talking to him, and I think he's trying to protect his crew.
Before that, just with the lead being erased again, does it feel like a little deja vu from a couple nights ago?
Yeah, I mean, the scoring at the end in both of those games obviously stands out, and that's something that has to be addressed. We go back and forth during the game at times, have our ups and downs, and then when you can rely on your defense and hold a team to a certain number. I mean, they finished with 23 in that quarter, and they had a ton of free throws at the end and technicals and all that. So we are guarding well enough and holding Minnesota to 100 until they go on their run, but we struggling to score at the end, and so that's something that needs to be solved. Until Dylan and Cam hit the 2 threes, we had 12 points at that point. So, teams are scoring 104 with all the free throws and scoring to that low of a number. Obviously, those should be wins for us if we're able to score the ball, and so got to be better at the end for sure.
What was the reason for it? Was it ejected?
Mark said he bumped him. I think they were obviously talking about the timeout for the 5-second call. I watched the replay, and Fred motioned that he did timeout, brushed him, and that was it. Minimal again.
You went on the run to start the third quarter. Allowing them to go on the run after that, how much did that kind of just like let them hang around in the game? Did you feel like you had a chance to maybe put it away midway through the third?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the case. That was the case the other game too, and that's been the case at times this year where we obviously started the quarter great. They had, I think, 8 points for about 7 minutes, and we built a lead there, and then just have a few letdowns on both sides of the ball. Whether it's a sloppy offensive possession that creates a turnover and they get outrun, or losing Hero and him making some shots. And so the key is always to sustain that when you make some substitutions. You can't run guys the whole quarter, and guys have to come in and uphold that the work that the starters do or increase it. But still ups and downs, and we still had our chance in the fourth quarter for sure, but didn't score enough.
With what happened between Ime and Hero, could you feel that coming on as that fourth quarter kind of wore on?
I mean, it felt like there was not a lot of control in the game regardless, and so that's probably going to happen when there's a lot of inconsistency, ups and downs with what they're calling, what they're not calling, how they're calling it, and so I wouldn't say I'm surprised it got to that point. Lost control as a crew, and that's what happens when it happens.
Was there anything specifically that Miami was doing that was making it difficult to execute offensively at the end of this game?
I mean, they tried to make us prove it. Went under a lot of pick and rolls. They relied on Bam to guard one-on-one with Dalpy, and he struggled a little bit there in the fourth quarter. And then went under a lot of pick and rolls, and obviously we didn't shoot it well in that fourth quarter. So took away some of our driving lanes by going under. But teams have done that this year at times, and I just think as a unit, as a whole. Obviously, when we look at the numbers of the fourth quarter only, a few guys were 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and then it puts the onus on some of our vets to try to do more, and that doesn't always work out.
Do you feel like you guys get a little bit desperate at the end of games when some shots aren't falling?
I wouldn't say desperate. I mean, you're searching for someone to, kind of shoulder the load, I guess. You like to do it as a team, like we try to do all game, or you go with the hot hand at times, but teams aren't going to allow you to just continue to go with what works. You have to find secondary options, and that's when, whether it's Alperin in the post and finding guys open, you got to make those shots, or other guys penetrating and setting their teammates up. And like I said, they went under a few times and bottled up the lanes, or Adebayo guarded one-on-one, and obviously 12 points is not enough to get it done, regardless of how you're guarding in the fourth quarter.
Do you get a sense of pride at all? Obviously, you don't want it to maybe escalate to this level, but you've talked before about the culture, the sense of these guys not backing down from anybody. In a moment like this, seeing how Ime kind of reacted, obviously maybe want to handle it a little bit better going forward. But just that fight from your team.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of built that reputation last year, and we've taken on that mentality. So I think the league and teams know what we're about. So that's nothing new. And like I said, going into this year, the fact that we've laid that foundation and mentality of toughness and competitiveness and effort and all those things, now we just have to add the IQ and the finishing to it. And so I think more so that's been there, done that last year, and need to figure out the other side now, which is finishing games, IQ stuff and experience, stuff that happens with experience with our guys, and not being deer in the headlights, so to speak, at the end of games when it's our first time.
Dylan returned tonight, didn't seem to have a lot of rest. What did you make of his minutes?
It was great as usual, consistent as usual. That to your point, we're looking at running him shorter stretches due to maybe him being winded, but he was totally fine, and everybody play like he does.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.